Welcome to the Taproxy Method, creating confident learners. The Taproxy Method uses a unique combination of breathwork, brain-body work, gratitude, and a clay-based program to affect the neuroplasticity of the brain in students, to help strengthen their mind-body connection, help them develop a growth mindset, and most importantly, trust and confidence in themselves. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. One way to support the Creating Confident Learners podcast is to leave a 5-star review and written review anywhere you listen to it. Thanks so much, and let's get started. I've watched students who usually can do something with me make a higher frequency of mistakes or shut down more easily. And I've even seen kids kind of digress in their abilities because their learning environment, whether it's the school dynamics, whether it's teacher dynamics or peer dynamics, has become a point of stress for them. Be sure to sign up for the Foundation course. This course is here to support you, both parents and educators. It teaches the exact foundational tools I have used with students to increase focus, ease anxiety, and help raise confidence and self-esteem so that they can succeed in all areas of their lives, including academics. It's made into bite-sized digestible pieces to help you apply these tools right away. So I've been noticing lately that emotions can actually affect a child's academic abilities. And in places that maybe they weren't struggling before, but because life has become stressful, they're not performing to where they typically are or what they're capable of doing. And it's interesting how big of an emotional component academic work really can be. Also, focus and stillness in the body that can tend to affect academic abilities, behavior problems, and lack of receptivity to what's being taught or being done, whether it's in tutoring, whether it's in school, negative self-talk and lack of confidence, any type of doubt where they are second-guessing themselves or, not so sure of themselves in any of the tasks that they're doing, anxiety, the perfectionism, lack of sleep can even affect how a child shows up daily, weekly, and even yearly. I've watched students who usually can do something with me make a higher frequency of mistakes or shut down more easily. And I've even seen kids kind of digress in their abilities because their learning environment, whether it's the school dynamics, whether it's teacher dynamics or peer dynamics, has become a point of stress for them. And it is sad to think about kids getting stressed, but these dynamics can kind of add to the lack of skills, kind of unquote, lack of skills that we may be seeing at that time. And sometimes the problem isn't fully academic. And that's why we're seeing kind of this digression in skills. And some of these other areas and things need to be resolved and addressed so that the academics can thrive. So sometimes we think the problem is in academics, but sometimes it's some other stuff, whether it's internally or externally, that is affecting how a child is showing up, what their abilities are looking like, what their skills are looking like on the day-to-day or week-to-week or year-to-year. And this is one of the reasons that I advocate more of those life skills of breath work and gratitude that actually help a child become more resilient to what's going on around them. On top of that, gratitude gives them kind of more of that perseverance that I can do this, I will do this, rather than shutting down, as well as the breath work actually helps the processing, both the right and left hemisphere with the nose breathing that I teach, as well as oxygenating the brain. But it's interesting to me how much emotions, especially feeling not confident in oneself, that really creates a wall for some students that is a hindrance to them excelling in the learning process. And the negative self-talk or perception of self is hindering their academic growth. It's hindering the skills that they are presenting. It's hindering their ability. So it's not really whether or not they have the ability, but because they're shutting down, some of those skills are getting fumbled in the process is what I'm noticing. And it's almost like once a child gets into an academic rut, they almost expect it to be that way. It's kind of portrayed to them and reinforced by their continual daily academic struggles. And this is when it's so important to redirect and to be their biggest cheerleader, help them see where they can and slowly build those banks of successes for them to draw on. Sometimes just that one math sheet or finishing that one chapter or that one page or that one early reader book, or the full word ring exercise that I do with them, shows them that they can do it. And it's enough to help them see possibility and switch their perspective. I was kind of reflecting with the end of the year. When I think about all the students that I've had this year, there has been such tremendous growth. And, one of the things that I think I get to do, which is not always possible in a group setting even, is really understand how a child ticks, both academically, but also just internally in life, what they really enjoy in life, what they love to do. And, by really deeply listening to them and really answering their questions from a place of honesty and truth to the best of my ability. I get all kinds of questions sometimes. I think kids feel heard. And when they feel heard, they want to show up a little bit more for themselves. They're willing to try harder. And, there's a sense of accomplishment. They feel seen. Like some of the feedback I've gone over the years, oftentimes children want to try harder because they feel seen, because they know I believe that they can. It's just, how do we get there from point A to point B? What little steps do we have to do? But I'm always cheering them on. And this is also a reason why I always do a quick check-in when I see kids. How are you? What's new? How was your day? And kind of just getting a pulse of how they're feeling, and essentially just checking in to see how their life is feeling for them. And sometimes there's a few things that need to be dealt with or talked about, and hopefully help them change perspective on things before looking into the academics. Usually this is just a few minutes of our time, but I'm finding that by checking in life skills, getting a pulse on how they're feeling about academics, their school, and life just in general, it gives me a better reading of how to progress through our time. It's really interesting to me how much the emotions can affect the abilities, and abilities that were there before, but there's almost like a digression. And so other things, the processing tends to affect how well a child does year to year, classroom to classroom, task to task, as well as something like focus and stillness. So kids who are constantly have something in their hands, especially if it's distracting or disruptive, where they're using that to get out of tasks, that's a big hindrance. Where they can't still, they're playing with something, I can guarantee you that their body is taking their brain's attention. And when the processing is not smooth, when the body and neural senses are taking most of a child's attention, there's really no room for academics or new academic knowledge, or at least it's not as deep of understanding. And there's almost like this uphill resistance that's pretty steep to get over if the body cannot be still for the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20-minute tasks at hand. Again, kids' attention spans are shorter, so we have to model tasks that are tangible, but kids should, when they get into the kindergarten and higher grades, be able to sit still for 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's a reasonable time frame for sure. And then you move and change tasks, and then you do another 10, 15, 20-minute task. You read, you move. And then my older kids, they can sit, for half an hour, a little bit longer. So again, that has to be age appropriate. And then, of course, this is probably not surprising to anybody, but behavior problems, affect academic abilities. These kind of go hand in hand. There tends to be behavior problems because academics is feeling too hard, and vice versa. It's almost more of a deflection and a defense mechanism. And, those behavior problems can sometimes stem from academic problems, from being perpetually behind their peers and seeing that reflected back to them over and over again. But behavior problems in the early years, like not listening, not paying attention, talking back, and it can be subtle talking back too, those can really lead to more academic problems, because those are causing kind of, rather than the smooth intake of retention of new materials and so forth, that stuff has to be dealt with first, or else it's always going to take a toll on the academics and the processing of new information. And then, of course, so negative self-talk, lack of confidence, doubt, anxiety, perfectionism, those tend to stop kids in their track too, where they doubt every step that they're doing, whether it's a simple task like a math worksheet or whatever they're doing. And that can be a real big block to absorbing new skills in academics and also progressing at a rate that we would typically see. So kids who shut down because, I'm not going to write this word or this sentence because I need everything to be perfect, or I'm so scared to just get my ideas out onto paper if it doesn't look just right, or I'm just doubting myself. I can't, or it's not good enough. That's actually something I heard today. And I was like, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're working on mastery of sight words with clay, and clay is an exercise of connecting the body to the brain, but I'm not looking for perfectionism or artistic skills in any way, shape, or form. We're just really trying to get this 2D idea, this 2D word that tends to get slipped up or tripped up with kids who are right-brained into the brain. And I've been talking a lot about early intervention, but the right type of intervention. When we have the right type of intervention, we really become educational mechanics. We're going in and fixing the problem, not just holding their hand through their academic path. So I'm really, really more focused on how do we understand how the processing is going? How do we get the right and left hemisphere oxygenated and processing smoothly? How do we get ease in the body, this perseverance, but with ease and positivity that helps them approach any task, because we're going to always be learning new stuff in academics. So how do we do that? And this is why I go to the foundation skills that are in the foundation course. And they don't necessarily seem all that academic, but they help with processing. The brain, especially with balance and symbol mastery when done early enough with clay. So symbol mastery, all the uppercase, all the lowercase, all the numbers. So that's imprinted through the brain-body connection. I've been reading a lot through just little posts from neuroscientists that actually technology, and I think we probably understand this, doesn't help the brain fully develop some of these cognitive skills in reading, writing, and spelling. They need real paper, real books. They need to use the brain and body at the same time. And along with the other foundation skills is the stillness and the breath work and the gratitude that kind of help build this. We're oxygenating the brain. We're tapping into more of a positive lens. We're giving less energy into things that might stop them. And then I'm also really excited about the upcoming visual-based reading program that I've been working on for creating confident learners. It really dissects and demonstrates, especially the brain work tools that tend to move the dial, where we're really giving better tools to all kids, whether they're right-brained or dyslexic or have any problems, giving them one more tool in their toolbox that is going to help with the processing. And this is almost a brain worker pre-work to reading, writing, and spelling. And beyond the brain work, there's also other very distinct, 11 distinct tools that help with the reading, writing, spelling process. And I'm so excited that it's going to come out in the fall. Be sure to stay tuned. For now, I hope you pick up a good summer read in the meantime and have a beautiful summer. We'll be back here on the podcast in the fall. Aloha. Be sure to sign up for the foundation course. This course is here to support you. It teaches the exact foundational tools I have used with students to ease anxiety and help raise confidence and self-esteem so that they can succeed in all areas of their lives, including academics. It's available as a one-time purchase or as an ongoing monthly subscription with extra group support and monthly live stream. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter to stay in contact. Keep up with the Creating Confident Learners community on Instagram and Facebook at Creating Confident Learners. Have a blessed day and aloha.